Yep.
Axiom Verge from Happ Games. Before you start, you can do a speed run at any time. It is for experts only. Like seriously, it's for experts only. Uh, Flicker and strobe reduction. How many games have that? Anyway, if you start the game, it's about 10 years ago in New Mexico. You play a character named Trace, who is a scientist of some sort, or maybe it's a guy wearing a lab coat who wants to be a scientist, who likes to fiddle with knobs and oscilloscopes. During experiments, something goes wrong. Really wrong, you'll see. That water cooler is destroyed beyond any recognition whatsoever, amongst everything else. And he winds up, for lack of a better words, another world. Some people look at that. Trace awakens. Let's say Trace awakes. Trace awakes to the sound of a female voice. You never want to wake up with somebody telling you there's a gun in the other room. That just seems terrifying. I love that sound, by the way. Every time you get any kind of power up or anything new, it makes that sound. And it never gets old. So this game is quite the homage to, let's be frank, games like Super Metroid, which would also include Metroid, obviously. Bionic Commando, Contra. Yeah. It wears its inspirations right on its sleeve, and that's okay. There's some titles that do that and don't attempt to really do anything new or expansive with the games that influenced it most. Axiom Verge does not have this problem. So as you learn to explore the huge environments, find very well placed, often near boss battles, very well placed save points. I love that the red door indicates that there's a boss in the next room. I like that. I like a game that respects my time. It lets you save near the boss. So the bosses are fair. They're challenging but fair. I really enjoy them because I like just figuring out the pattern. Because a lot of games initially you don't have a clue what it is, but I did like the way the boss battles felt. Some of them felt almost rhythmic in the way you had to go about defeating them. And you'll go through a wide variety of environments, and yes, that sound does sound very similar to that of many alarm clocks. That's my only gripe about this game, is that reminds me of my alarm clock. I don't want to think about when I'm playing a game, but but that's okay. The drill you saw me use was an item you get in order to you can use it as a weapon. You can also use it to destroy parts of the environment, to access sometimes secret passageways of sorts. I found myself just using it all the time, and the thing I like is it's not a selectable. It's not something to select on the weapon wheel, or you can have the weapons be selectable linearly or in a ring, sort of like Secret of Mana. I like that you can just use it. I think it's the R2 button, so I believe it's always there, so that's good. So we can always use it to try to figure out whether something is, a wall is collapsible or breakable. So, and the game does get into some themes about identity and there's a spoiler there. Wow. This identity and just what the motives are of the inhabitants that you encounter. And as you see, the map is very expansive, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, even though it clearly you can see the influences of the game, it is so much bigger in scope and offers so many more secrets. It's almost crazy just how much is in this game. You can beat the game having discovered a fraction of what is really there. So you can always jump back in and just just keep going, and this like ridiculous amount of weapons and power up to those weapons, a wide variety of enemies to dispatch. I mentioned the boss battles already, but the boss battles are interesting and varied in the way that they're executed. Yeah, you'll come up across some things and think, how in the world will I ever get past that? And then once you have the ability to do it, it just, I don't know, it's just a game that just kind of keeps on giving. So it's easy to say, oh, it's like Super Metroid, oh, it's ripping off this and that, third. What isn't influenced by something else? This game is taking those influences and built up something that is epic, for lack of a better word. Another item you have is the Disruptor, which you can, sort of like a radiation gun that you can actually use and have an effect on some environments and some creatures, and it might actually it'll change their look and sometimes their behavior. So there's interesting effects you can have with a Disruptor, so you can just kind of mess around with that and kind of see what happens and do some experimenting, just the game is just full of, I don't know, just it's just big. There's a lot to do. You can get a remote that you can eventually swap with, and one of the most interesting modes of fast travel I've ever seen in any game. Axiom Verge is the goods.